Let's take a moment and review the mogul that is Warren Buffett's portfolio with Berkshire Hathaway. We'll talk about the stocks they bought and sold in Q2. We'll review the recent earnings. And if that is a conversation you'd appreciate, as always, hit that like button. But first and foremost, let's just take a look at the stock performance. Year to date, up 16%, actually keeping pace roughly with the S&P 500. And since the peak of 2022, the stock is roughly trading up 8%. On the recent earnings, people were pretty pleased to see that the operating earnings hit a whopping $10 billion, a record from 2022 where they hit 9.4. Over the 6-month end, they had 18.1 billion versus 16.5. This has led investors to be pretty bullish on the stock overall. But taking a look at the actual portfolio follow here from Hedge Follow, we can see the largest positions in his publicly traded stock portfolio. He's got about 46% in Apple, about 9% in Bank of America, 7.6% in American Express, and Coca-Cola at 7.6% being the largest positions. Keep in mind, these are only the positions of his publicly traded companies, not the private ones. So his total portfolio, Apple wouldn't make up 46%. But as we scroll down, we can actually take a look at the recent buys and sells, and we can see that he actually added to Apple and to Bank of America, increasing those positions slightly by about 2% of the current holdings, which are still pretty substantial because it's about 20 million shares to each. We can see one of the largest sale positions was Chevron. He took that down by about 18%. And just taking a look at Chevron, it has actually been trading down about 7.9%, this oil giant that he only recently started buying, but he favored clearly Occidental Petroleum over Chevron, buying about 5.8% more shares, or about 12 million in total. We can take a look at Occidental here. Year to date is actually up 4% and is probably one of the best buys that he's been doing over the last couple years. But taking a look at some of the largest positions he bought into, he also picked up, increasing the stake by 15% in HP Inc. If you don't know HP, this is one of the largest printing companies. They obviously sell printers, things of that nature. This stock has actually been an incredible performer, up 22.58% year to date, starting to recover from the recent lows and the crash that it took through 2022. Continuing on, though, let's see what else he has been buying and selling. We can see General Motors was a big sale in here. He dropped that position by about 20%, which I'm not really sure why he's a fan of General Motors. The auto industry is very cyclical, and obviously there's a lot of recalls. It's very capital intensive. And year to date, this one's only up 1%. But the longer you zoom out this chart, the less attractive GM has looked over time, especially in the new competitive market when you're talking about things like Tesla. And if you obviously believe in General Motors' future in the EV market, he'd probably be picking up shares here, trading at a price to earnings of only 4, which would look fairly favorable depending on what the future looks like for the auto industry. And then finally here, Activision Blizzard. This was a big sale for him, dropping the position by 70%. As many know, Microsoft has been working to acquire Activision Blizzard, which for Microsoft, I think is an incredible deal. And it sounds like that deal is going to come into fruition. And he's been using it as a bit of an arbitrage play for that deal to go through. And it looks like he was able to make some returns here as the stock year to date has jumped up 18%. It's been basically trading flat ever since the news came out that Microsoft was looking to buy it, flatlined ever since. And then as the news has spurred back up, the stock actually hit a recent 52-week high. So it looks like he's been taking advantage of that. We know in the past that he has been a little bit more bearish on the banks in the financial sector, because we scroll down, we can see coming into 2023, he did liquidate US Bank Corp. He got out of Bank of New York Mellon, and he got out of these actually at a pretty bad time as they've been recovering quite nicely into the second quarter here. And he also completely got rid of Taiwan Semiconductors with fears of China invading or trying to get some kind of foothold in the Taiwanese economy. And Taiwan Semiconductors is the largest producer of semiconductor chips and has also been performing exceptionally well since he got out of the position. But at this point, I'd love to know what you think of his buys and sells. Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? I'd love to know what you think in that comment section below.